everyone, Emily here from Emily Reads, and today I have for you my March book haul. Now, it seems a little early to be recording a book haul. We still have a third of the month to go. However, I've bought several books already this month, so I'm hoping that by filming this book now, it will prevent me from buying books later on in the month. So that being said, I want to share with you what I've purchased this month. So the first three books are all in the Protector of the Small series by Tamora Pierce. So I bought Paige, Squire, and Lady Knight. And last month I had read First Test, which tells the tale of Celadri of Midlian, who is the first female who is able to openly train to become a knight in the land of Tortall. And First Test is she decides to go and train, but she's put on probation for a year, and if she does well during that year, then Lord Wildon, who is the trainer, will agree to continue to train her to become a knight. And so of course she meets with some resistance from some of the students who are there because they are bullies and they are jerks. But it tells her tale. She makes some friends. This is the third quartet in the land of Tortall. The first is The Song of the Lioness, which tells the story of Alana, who she had trained to become a knight, but she hid it in secret. She hid the fact that she was a female. And then the next trilogy that I'm actually listening to on audiobook right now tells the story, next quartet, which I'm listening to an audiobook right now, tells the story of Dane, who practices wild magic where she can communicate with animals. And then this is the third quartet, and it does feature some of the characters from the first two quartets. As Celadri progresses through her training, so it is a great middle school read, but as she progresses through her training, there are some more mature themes. They do mention that Dane and Numair are lovers, so if you're a little bit more conservative, you might want to talk with your children about that. It doesn't go into detail, but they do mention that, so just that it's there. But again, I love these. I've read them numerous times, all three of her quartets, and I've just realized I should just start purchasing them. So still trying to hunt down the Immortals and Song of the Lioness. Then the next book that I purchased was through my library book sale for $1, and this is The Bronze Bow by Elizabeth George Spear. And when I was very young, I really enjoyed Witch of the Blackbird Pond. And I saw this. It's a Newbery Award winner. The book was in relatively good condition. I'd never read it. And I loved, like I said, The Witch of Blackbird Pond. So I decided to give this a try. And if I enjoy it, great. If I don't, I'll just put it in my classroom library. Maybe some other students will enjoy it. But this tells the story of Daniel in the time of Christ, and his father is crucified by Roman soldiers, and so he decides to avenge his death. But from what I understand, so he is trying to avenge his father's death, but then he's also drawn to the teachings of Jesus, and doesn't understand why Jesus is not acting out towards the Roman soldiers. So I'm intrigued to read this. I think it'll be a great read. It won the Newbery Award, so that's why I picked that up. And then I did order 2 books from Book of the Month. The first book is the one that I selected for my Book of the Month, which is The Cartographers by Penn Sheppard. And this is about Nell, she is a cartographer, and her father fires her over a map that she didn't think was very important at all. And she then ends up discovering that that map really, truly is important. So I decided to give this a shot. This was their fantasy pick, so I picked that up. And then I also picked up The Inheritance of Arcada, Divinia by Zoraida, Cordova. I don't know too much about this. I know it's fantasy. I know that's really pretty much all I know. I could read the inside flat, but I feel like this has been talked about a lot on BookTube, and it didn't really intrigue me, I will be honest, originally, so that's why I kind of got passed over it when it was offered in other books for Book of the Month. But then I'm going to use this for a prompt for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, so that's why I decided to pick this up. So there's that. And then I had worked a track and field match, or a track and field meet, and got some money from that. And we're doing like a wellness challenge at my work, and it's a wellness bingo. And one of the prompts in the bingo was treat yourself. So I worked this track match, and I got some money for it. And I said, I'll just treat myself. The bingo card told me to do so. So I bought 3 books. So the first book that I bought that I'm going to show is Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. And this is the 3rd book in the Dresden Files. I'm currently reading Full Moon. I have 100 pages left to go. I've read about 100 pages today. This is the 3rd book. And I found several of the Dresden Files for $1 at my not my Homewood Public Library. Haha, wrong town. At my public library where I live, and but they didn't have the 3rd book, so I knew I needed to pick it up because I'm going to be done with Full Moon either today or tomorrow, and so eventually I'm going to have to read this. And then I also picked up A Wizard of Earthy by Ursula Le Guin, and this is about Ged, who is the greatest sorcerer in all of Earthsea. But once, when he was younger, his name was Sparrowhawk, and he was very hungry for power and knowledge, and he loosed a terrible evil upon the world. And this just talks about how he was tested and his younger days as a wizard. I remember reading this my freshman year of high school, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've been meaning to reread this again for years and years and years, and I just haven't. And finally, I just said, let's just do it. So I found it. It was only $9. So I said, okay, sold. And then there is a challenge for the Flourish and Blots book challenge where it's called Wingardium Leviosa. And it says, a prompt where there's feathers on the cover. So I might end up using this book for that prompt. I had another book planned, but I might end up using this one depending on which one I read first. And then finally, FOMO won out with this purchase. I have no idea what I'll fit this in, and here's the funny thing, I have 4 of his other books that I found for $1 a piece at my library book sale in relatively good condition, in pretty much pristine condition actually, but I have not read them yet. But FOMO won out since his next book in the series is coming out next month, and I bought The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynn. So now, I found Faithful and the Fallen for $4 at my library book sale, and they're pretty much pristine. I have not read them yet because other books, Robin Hobb has taken over my life. So John Wood needs to get up there soon too. But his Hunger of the Gods comes out next month. And I was like, oh boy, I'm going to have to somehow fit this in, somehow, somewhere, so that way I could read Hunger of the Gods soon. I probably won't read Hunger of Gods in April. I probably will actually read this in April and then Hunger of the Gods in May or June. But this is, from what I understand, it's inspired by Norse mythology. So I'm looking forward to this. I've heard nothing but positive reviews, and yes, FOMO won out, and I bought Shadow of the Gods. So that is what I purchased this month. Here's to hoping that I don't buy anything else, because I just have, at least for the rest of the month, because I have a lot on my plate. But summer is coming up in 2 months, and I can just read and read and read. That is what I have purchased. Let me know what you are reading. Let me know your thoughts on some of these books. Please keep it spoiler free, because I have not read them yet, with the exception of the Tamora Pierce books, which then I know there's some out there who have not read it, so please keep your comments spoiler free. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and happy reading.